Hello, my crafty friends. This is Tricia Petito, your Stampin' Up demonstrator. Welcome to the Handmade Holiday Hop. I'm so excited to be a part of this month's Christmas card inspiration YouTube hop. Today I'll be sharing a top fold card that features the beautiful origami tree fold technique. I'm highlighting the Delicate Pines Design Series paper and the coordinating stamp set so we can create this festive design. Be sure to stick around until the end of the video because I've got a bonus project that I'm going to share with you that uses the same technique in a fun new way. Okay, let's get started. So these are the 3 pieces of paper you will need to cut beforehand, and I'll have all the sizes written down in the description, and then a base for your card. I decided to do it as a top fold. You could do it any way you would like. And then you need to pick a designer series paper and cut out 4 squares. Once again, I will include the sizes in the description of the video. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do this fold with the first square, and then we're just going to repeat it 4 times, the paper getting smaller and smaller. So the first thing you're going to do is fold it corner to corner. Now what I found that worked good for me is that I held it up with my finger. I did a rough fold to make sure it stayed in place. And then I took my scoring tool and made sure it was a nice fold. We're going to do that again, the opposite corner. Try to get it as close as you can. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. So when you're looking at your card, I'm sorry, I don't know which way will be easier to see in the camera, but you're going to have an X pattern. When you're done with the X pattern, we want to just fold it in half. I'm doing it the opposite way this time, so that way we have a nice score, easy to manipulate. Okay, so you should have your X pattern as well as your straight across, and we're going to fold those sides in on itself so it ends up being a triangle. Okay, now this next fold is really just a guide for yourself. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but the idea is to kind of fold it in half so you have a little cheat fold that you can work off of. Because then what we're going to do, there's my cheat fold, kind of hard to probably see on camera, but I can see that that's where I'm going to be going across. And the idea is I'm going to take the one side and I'm going to fold it right along that line. So it's nice and straight up and down. And hopefully I can get this to cooperate with me. Okay, so it should be a nice straight fold like that. And then I'm going to do it again the opposite way. Now mine isn't exactly perfect, but it's a pretty good representation of straight down the middle. So I got one on each side. Let's flip it over. And these are going to, let's see how this is a little triangle. We're going to fold that triangle in half. So the straight edge goes along the straight edge. Like that. I'm gonna try to give it a nice crisp edge. Do the opposite on the other side. Now, to secure this little tiny triangle in place, you could glue these, but I'm going to show you a fun little technique where we are actually going to tuck it. So you're going to unfold this, and this fold that you just did, you can see it's a little triangle, and we're just going to fold it right in. So when you go to put it back together, it has a triangle at the bottom, almost like a tie. To me, this looks like a tie. like a man would wear for his dress clothes. And there we go. There's our very first, which would be the bottom of the tree. So let's repeat that 3 more times so we have the whole tree ready to go. Okay, so the little tiny one you want to put off to the side so you don't end up losing that. These are the 3 that we want to put some tape on. So I use this peel and rip tape. I'm not sure exactly if that's the right name for it. And what's nice about it is you just put the tape where you want it and you can just tear it off. I think it's called tear and seal, or something similar. And I really like it, especially for this project. It's a nice strong bond and it's easy to work with, being that you're able to just tear it right off. And what I'm doing is I'm putting tape at the top of each one of the 3 bigger triangles on both sides. I don't have an exact measurement. I just kind of did it at the top of the triangle, so I knew it would have some good adhesive on it. Okay, so I'm going to start with my biggest one, which is going to be the bottom of the tree. And I'm just going to use my pick tool here and kind of get that cover off here. So all I have left is the adhesive. If I have any extra folding over the sides, I'm just going to fold it right over. And then there's really no exact measurement. You can go as low or as high as you want. I would say go about 1/4 of the way down, and which is by going into the other one. And then I kind of try to line up my straight line in the middle and push down on it where that adhesive is, so that way it adheres to the bottom one. And I'm going to do that all over again. Any excessive adhesive, just push it in. And I'm gonna, about 1/4 of the way down maybe, gonna line up my straight line in the middle as best as I can. And then I'm gonna push down. And then one more time. And then we are going to put the topper on and line it up. So there we go. There is our tree. Love that. So it's ready to go on the card. So let's put our base together and then we can embellish. Okay, so here's our card base, is the cherry cobbler. And then I have 3 other colors here. On the original template, I did the green on here, but I think I'm gonna reverse it for this card. Using all the same papers, just reversing the order of how I did it. And just to make things easier, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my stamping. So on the front of this card, I put celebrate the season. And then on the inside, I did it's the most magical time of the year. And I did some of the snowflakes. So we're gonna do that. I'm just gonna reverse the order on my green and my black. I'm gonna take some of the Secret Sea ink, which is the background color for this paper. It looks like it could be black, but it's actually not. It's this really, really dark blue color. And let's take Celebrate the Season. And once again, this is from the Delicate Pine stamp set. I'm just gonna stamp it right up here at the top. Perfect. And then on this card, we're gonna put, what does it say? It's the most magical time of the year. And I'm gonna do that. Oh, my stamp is not lined up. Let's fix that. That's better. And I'm not going to do it quite right in the middle, but enough room for me to write a little note and maybe sign it at the bottom. And then some of those snowflakes up in the corners. I do one down here. And then I'm going to do a couple of the little snowflakes up at the top. And I'm just going to kind of let it go off the paper some. So it looks like it's coming down into the card. Very fun. Okay, so our stamping is done. It's simple and easy. And that was Secret Sea color. Okay, so the next little bit of this card is doing what I'm calling the wrap, which is the green and the twine. So I have the green here. To make it easier, we are going to do some scoring. So let me get my scoring tool out here. If you have a tray like this, it's very nice and easy to see your measurements and do your score marks. You can do this on your cutter as well if you have the scoring tool. So from each side, we are going to score between the 2 1/4 and the 2 1/2. So there's the 2 1/4 mark and the 2 1/2 mark. The little line in between it is what we're going to be scoring. Let me use, that seems a little too sharp, so we're going to do this. Okay, and then I'm going to turn around and do the same exact thing on the other side. So not the 2 1/4, the 2 1/2, the one in between. That'll make it easy to fold around our paper. Okay, so the next object we're going to do is we need to find the center of this paper. And I'm sure there's a lot of amazing ways to do that, but just for ease, I'm just going to kind of match my ends up and make a little crease. So I know that's the middle of the paper. Let's do that again on this side. Just finding the middle, it's a little cheat way. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to make a fold from my cheat mark down to my score mark. So I want to, this can be a little tricky. I want to try to, it doesn't have to be exact, but the idea is, and I did not do a great job at that. The idea is to, if we do it both the same on both sides, then we'll have the same exact point on both sides of our card. Almost there. I'm just kind of manipulating until it looks like it's the way I want it. And then once that's done, and then I can use my boning folder there. So there we go. There's our first side. And just to keep them together, I'm going to do just a little bit of tape there in the middle. That'll keep that point together like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. They don't have to be perfect, but the idea is if you do from the score line up to your middle point on both sides, they'll be pretty darn close on each side. Okay. And then once again, I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of tape in there just to keep them together for my ease. Okay, so this is the idea. And we're going to wrap this around our middle. Remember before I did it in the olive green color? I think it's called Old Olive. This time I decided I wanted to do it with the white, just to change it up a little bit and make fun, have some fun with it. Okay, and let's see, we went down about an inch. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I almost put it on there perfect. About an inch from the top of the card. There we go. And these are not going to be exactly perfect depending on how you did on your folding, but the idea is they look like they're pretty close to the middle, and they are. And the idea is you're only going to see the sides, so we want those to look like they are even. Now you're probably thinking, Trish, all this folding, why didn't we just cut the paper and make it the triangle look? We could have. I really like the idea, since we're going to be wrapping twine around this, I like the idea of showing it wrapping around the sides of the paper, so it's almost like a gift feeling. So that's why I did it like that. Now you're going to take some twine. I chose the golden white twine. It kind of looks like this on the pack. It's white and gold. And I cut 5 pieces. I'd say about 10 inches long. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them all together like this. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. And I'm going to use some Scotch tape. And if you put it right in the middle, the tree is going to cover it. So you don't have to worry about seeing the Scotch tape. And then we're just going to wrap this around here. They don't have to be perfect. And I'm not doing it super tight, I'm just doing it snug. Another piece of Scotch tape. And then what you're gonna see is any of this extra pieces that are going over longer than your Scotch tape, we're gonna just trim those off. I don't want them to show on the other side of my tree. There we go. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to spread these guys out so they're about where I want them to be. A couple of them got twisted, and that's okay. See if I can put them in the order they should be. Okay, there's that. And I have a funny feeling that I'm taking all this time to keep them nice and organized and look about the same on both sides. But me and you both know it's probably going to do its own thing if I don't secure it so it stays. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to take this over to see how some of them got all, it's okay because you're not going to see the back. I'm going to just I'm going to hold them where I want them. And I'm going to, let's double check it. See, they moved again. I'm going to hold it right where I want it. I'm going to put that Scotch tape so they won't be moving. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And I'm just utilizing that Scotch tape just to keep them where I want them. Okay, so there we go. I know it looks like a mess. I know it does. But the great part is this tree goes right in the middle and you're not gonna see the big mess. You only see the pretty stuff around the outside. So there we go. So simple and easy. I'm just gonna use my sealant tape and just put some adhesive on the back here. And we're gonna position this so the tree is at the bottom here. I probably could have stamped that a little bit higher, that's okay. Okay, and then this is going to adhere to the red base. And like I said before, you're not gonna see all this mess because it's gonna be adhered right down. And there we go. And then we'll put our other green on the inside. Just like that. And we can sign the card there, put any additional notes. And of course, because we love our bling, we are going to put a little bit of gems on here. These came with the Delicate Pines Suite, so I wanted to utilize them. And I'm just gonna slide these right off with my finger, utilizing the bigger ones and the smaller ones. Just like that. There we go. In essence, the same exact card. I just switched around the colors a little bit. This one's a little bit darker with the old olive in the background, and this one's a little brighter with the white. Love to know what you guys think of this. And it is a top fold card, so you get to do it like this. I thought that made it easy for it to be able to stand up on your desk, and easy for whoever you give this to as a recipient. It does have a little bit of depth to it. So you might need to, if you send this in the mail, you might need to do it as a hand, what do they call it? Hand meter or hand postage. So that way it doesn't go through the machine. Or give this to someone in person so you don't have to worry about the excess fussing about the mail. Now, like I said, I have another example of how to do this, and that's going to be for a scrapbook layout. And here you go. I really wanted to utilize this technique for not only a card but also a scrapbook layout, and as you can see, look how beautiful that turned out. Used all the same exact colors. I just did 2 trees and put them as my focal point. And I have a room for a 5x7 photo and 2 2x2s. And just a beautiful arrangement of the same exact papers. This is Delicate Pines Designer Series paper. And then I did utilize a couple dies here. Let me grab the names of those. I will have them in the description. But the Joy one is called Abundant Joy Dies. And the pines are actually the dies that go with the stamp set and the paper. It's called Delicate Pines dies. What's nice about it is has all the items from the stamp set, but also the fun pine cones and the ferns. And look how cute that is. So this is a perfect example how you can take your card idea and turn it into a layout. I did it as a 1-page layout, but you can obviously duplicate this to make it into a 2-page layout. I have a frame in my house that I put up seasonally, and I love showcasing my photos in it. And it's in a frame, a 12 by 12 frame, so a 1-page layout works perfect for that. And there we go, ladies. I so appreciate you watching my video today. So be sure to also watch Debbie's. Her video is the other one that will show up today on the hop. Enjoy this holiday hop throughout the month, and I'll see you back later in the month. Thank you so much.